Hello book lovers, welcome to Uncommon Reader. This is Daniela, and today I'm going to share with you my July TBR. I haven't done a TBR in a while, and I'm pretty excited about this one because this weekend I'll be landing to California, so I want to take advantage of my local library there to rent a few books that I don't have in paper available at my library. They only have ebook versions, and I can't get myself to read electronically, so I'll be renting these books I'll be sharing with you today. But before that, I'm going to share the only book I'm bringing with me from my home. I'm bringing only one book because I want to travel light and leave some space for new purchases. So the book that will accompany me on the plane will be The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. And this is for me the first time reading this author, and I hear wonders about her style. In fact, there are a few comments here by famous authors. David Mitchell says, a wise novel of love and grief, roots and branches, displacement and home, faith and belief. The Island of Missing Trees is balm for our bruised times. The plot: in 1974, two teenagers from opposite sides of a divided Cyprus meet at the tavern of a city they both call home. The tavern is the only place that Kostas, who is Greek, and Daphne, who is Turkish, can meet in secret, hidden beneath the leaves of a fig tree growing through the roof of the tavern. This tree will witness their hushed, happy meetings and will be there when the war breaks out and the teenagers vanish. Decades later, in North London, 16-year-old Ada has never visited the island where her parents were born. She seeks to untangle years of her family's silence, but the only connection she has to the land of her ancestors is a fig tree growing in the back garden of their home. Beautiful story, historical novel, and also filled with romance. I'm looking forward to read this one. So now let's discover, I have my computer right here, which are the books I am dying to have my hands on. There are actually a couple of books from the same author, which is Sophia J. Bennett, who started a few years ago a series of mysteries with a very unusual protagonist, Queen Elizabeth II. Yes, I'm talking about Queen Elizabeth in the role of investigator, because certain mysteries and crimes happen in Windsor Palace, and she's so smart and cunning that she will investigate and find out the culprit. So the series started with the Windsor Knot and continued with A Three-Dog Problem, which I have read in Italian, available at my library. My library has Murder Most Royal and A Death in Diamonds in ebook version. And I see a fifth book I didn't know about, The Queen Who Came In From the Cold. It's just the titles are so funny. And then actually I see sixth book, which is not listed here, which is called All the Queen's Men, but it's a book from 2022. So I'm getting a little confused why it's not in this list, but I will definitely read All the Queen's Men. It says here, amateur detective Queen Elizabeth II is back. Buckingham Palace, the autumn of 2016 presages uncertain times. The Queen must deal with the fallout from the Brexit referendum, a new female prime minister, and a tumultuous election in the United States. And let's leave it at that. I'm sure it's going to be fun. So weird that this book is not listed, and not even if you go on her website. If you go on her website, there are sample chapters in PDF, and the website is sjbennettbooks.com. Pretty cool. I like the graphic as well. So, okay, I'm just gonna be so excited to read this book. I really get a kick out of it because they're not just mysteries, they're sort of witty and a little humorous as well. So I always enjoy this series a lot. I already placed on hold on this book. I adore the series, the Jaipur series. This is the third and probably last of the series. The first one, The Henna Artist, was a major success globally. And we saw Lakshmi, which was the protagonist, running away from her husband who was abusive. And thanks to her mother-in-law teachings, she became a very established henna artist in Jaipur. And she had even the palace, the Maharaja Palace, as a client. Unfortunately, when her sister comes to town, she gets a hold of her. She's starting to create some problems for her and also for Lakshmi's reputation. But I won't tell you more. The second novel was The Secret Keeper of Jaipur, and we see both sisters as protagonists as they sort of change their lives a bit. The third one, which I'm going to read, is The Perfumist of Paris. And how can I let this go? Because it's set in Paris, or at least part of the story is set in Paris. And the protagonist is going to be Radha this time, most of it, I guess, but I'm sure that we'll hear from Lakshmi as well. After being tasked with her first major project for the master perfumer, Radha travels to India. Oh, why don't you stay in Paris? Enlisting the help of her sisters and courtesans of Agra, but discovers that the son she gave up years earlier is heading to locate her in Paris, threatening her marriage and carefully manage her. I'm sorry, I gave it away. This little secret that was supposed to be, hidden if you hadn't read the second book, but I hope you don't mind. It's full of other crazy things going on, so don't mind my words. So I really can't wait to hear how the whole story ends up. Another book that I'll be reading that's not available in hard copy yet at my library in Italy, it's The Baroness by Hannah Rothschild. I love this author. From her, I read The House of Trelawney and the sequel, which was called High Time, and also The Improbability of Love. Very different novels, but somehow connected to the world of art. And The Baroness actually is the author looking back at her grand aunt's life, because she was wealthy, but she gave it all up for the love of a jazz musician, moving to New York and being sort of like a philanthropist for these young artists. I look forward to read this story because it's an historic novel talking about someone that really existed. So, and I love the writer's style, so I'm sure it's going to be very entertaining. The last book I'm going to be happily reading in July from a library, it's The Mystery Guest by Nita Prose, and this is also a sequel, the sequel of The Maid. If you haven't read The Maid, well, you have to read The Maid because it's a very unusual book. The protagonist is Molly, who is a very unusual child because she lives protected by her grandmother, and she's really naive, and she takes every word you say literally. And after her grandmother died, Molly found herself having to deal with a lot of difficulties. Luckily, she had found a job before her grandmother died as a maid, but at this hotel, one of the best hotels in town, she discovers a murder in one of the rooms, and somehow she finds herself in her weird behavior a suspect. And so this actually gives a lot of opportunities to see her how she doesn't understand what's going on. I really enjoy a book that has a mystery and some humor to it. I find it really entertaining, and it's the best type of book you can read while on vacation, or during the summertime when we all need something that it's a bit lighter and that doesn't make us think too much. So in this new book, The Mystery Guest, we still see Molly working at the Regency Grand Hotel, but this time she became the esteemed head maid. But that's not gonna save her from another murder. She actually discovers, or somebody discovers, another victim. And this time the victim is the world-renowned mystery author J.D. Grimthorpe, who drops dead, very dead, on the hotel's tea room floor. Well, it turns out that Molly knew this person, and it was someone she knew when she was a child. So I guess her grandmother had something to do with that as well. So this concludes my July TBR. I hope I'll be able to read all these books. I'm pretty excited because I'll be reading in English throughout July, and this will perhaps give me the opportunity to do some reading vlogs. We'll see. But I will definitely be doing some vlogs while there. I hope to go back to Jack London's historical park and do some new footage of one of my favorite places on earth. I went there last year, but I definitely want to go back. And some more. I'll also be visiting North Carolina, and it's going to be my first time there, spend 4th of July there. So I always enjoy doing travel vlogs a lot. Stay tuned. I'll be back next week with a book tag while I'm traveling away. And I thank you so much for watching the channel and supporting with your likes and comments, and of course by subscribing. Thank you. Enjoy your summer, enjoy your vacation, and happy reading, everyone. See you soon. Ciao.